Here's a line you don't want to hear when you walk into a psychic's office. It's like, so, what are you here for? But this is true, she did ask me that. Which makes me ponder, like, how good of a psychic are you to not be able to know what a person walks into your place for? So it's just crazy to me because psychics they're supposed to predict the future, are they not? Is that what it is? You're like, hi, psychic, I predict that one day, very soon, you'll kill somebody. And that's not a good psychic analysis. Like if you walked in to a psychic office and they told you 2 days later you would kill somebody, at that opportunity you would go, well, I could probably not do that. So 2 days comes by and you have the opportunity to do that, but you decide not to, which would make then the psychic not a psychic and therefore useless. I mean, if she's a psychic, wouldn't she already know the lottery numbers for the coming election lottery? And already won it, so technically there would be no psychics out there because they're all super psychic, that they've already picked the lottery winners, they're all millionaires, and they don't need to be out there in a little corner of a building with a tent over their head and drapes for clothes. They don't need that, right? They wouldn't. They'd all be millionaires. And they wouldn't. So technically, if you're a psychic, you wouldn't be a psychic. Psychics are not psychics. They can't be. It's impossible. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing the job they work. They'd be away, as I said earlier. You guys ever wonder what kids play today? Well, not technically, because then you'd probably be a pedophile. But I was like, just out of curiosity, sometimes you go, oh, what do kids play? Because obviously it's monkey see, monkey do. What your parents do, you do. The kids do. But back in the day, you couldn't play. They used to play Cowboys and Indians, but that isn't politically correct anymore, is it not? Right? I mean, and how hard is it to shoot somebody behind a fence? Not too hard. But we don't play that game anymore. And there's a few other games we don't play, like Invisible Man, blah blah blah. I got a whole bit on that one. But my question is like, do they play like Christians versus Muslims? Is that what they play today? That's when I add the tagline, because that's what the adults are doing. So kids will probably do the same thing. And because like for me, so the kid was like, okay, I'll be the Christian, you be the Muslim. Here, I'm going to strap this bomb to you, and the object of the game is to try to capture me and blow me up. And if you do, then you win. And if you don't, then I win. And here you go. I'm going to I'll start the timer for 6 minutes. And remember, I get a 5-minute head start. And then, of course, you get up to heaven. You're like, oh my God, what happened? And he's just like, oh, you got caught. And you go, well, what happened? What happened to the other guy? And like, how come there's a guy over there with all these women around him? And God's like, he goes, yeah, well, that's the guy that blew you up. And it's like, really? And he goes, yeah. Get 72 virgins. I mean, and he goes, wouldn't you want to have somebody who can gather together 72 virgins in your part of the world? And that's why we have them up in heaven. And so you're hanging out with it. But the thing is, God is kind of like evil. Like, He's not always good, because He loves us, but He'd rather throw us in hell any time we sin. It's like, oh, one sin, hell you go. Too bad, you die. And the problem with that is, like, so I think maybe God would actually be mean to that person. He'd probably give him like 72 virgins who are all nuns and old. And then it's just like, too bad, now you have to wait until they're all dead, but you can't die, so you got to take care of them forever. And so that would suck, eh? Like, you're 16 years old, ready to get some virgins, and they're all 92. But I have a problem with this next concept, is the fact that we're all going to get angel wings when we pass away, apparently, and if we get accepted into heaven. Which is, I spent all my life on earth being human. Now when I go up to heaven, I got to be part bird? And how do you recognize people? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find Billy, but I couldn't recognize you with your 15-foot wingspan in front of me. And it would be tough to recognize people that you know, because everybody would be flying. And the problem with that is obviously what if you're a Taekwondo artist? You want to do your spin tuck move, and next thing you know, your wings take you up an extra 10 feet in the air, and you kick to the guy in the head. He goes flying. He gets cloud all over his face. And how do you clean off clouds in heaven? Is there cloud towels up there? I don't know, I mean, and then speaking of cleaning, I'm sure it gets pretty dirty in heaven too, right? Because we got a lot of that CO2 that's going up there from the cars or whatever. So, I mean, all of a sudden that CO2 cleans the shit, so besides, including your wings, right? So now you're going to have dirty wings, and how do you clean your wings in heaven? I'm not a cat, I don't have like, unless God starts giving us these cat tongues. Yeah. So, I mean, then I'm part cat in heaven because I got to clean my wings, which is even worse. But if you didn't get them, like I'm not a bird, so there's no, and I didn't see any angels with beaks, so you can't pack your wings thing. So I would assume there's got to be like a 24-hour dry cleaning in heaven. Wouldn't that be? I mean, that's the only way to clean wings. Is like, you know, you take your wings in, you hand them in, and then he gives you a substitute pair, and you know, and then he cleans them for you. And then, of course, what happens if he shrinks your wings? Then you got to go off to mini wing heaven or something? It's like, oh, you know, hang out there until they grow back. And, or, you know, what I think ghosts are, is just like, those are the people that went to hand in their wings for dry cleaning, but the guys didn't tell them that you actually have to get a substitute pair, otherwise you fall to earth. And that's what ghosts are. They're like running around telling people, oh, get me ticket 2741. And they hope that people die. And then the mean ghosts are the ones that have been telling people over and over every year. And when they die, they forget. And the guy's got to go on to somebody else. And like, oh, God, you know, how many people do I have to go through before somebody flies down and gets my wings? And you don't know. And so, and the other thing about, you know, being in heaven and with the dry cleaning, what if they lose your wings? You know, I mean, then you have to go to like welfare wing department, you know, get an extra pair for free or something. I don't know. But it's always curious too, because you know, what happens? Can you eat in heaven? Is there food? I mean, can I like take my wings off, throw them on a barbecue, and eat my, you know, have some good wings? You know, wouldn't that be the greatest thing? You know, you just cook your wings up. God would probably be mad. Cooking your wings again. And that's the other question. Do we get to eat in heaven? Because, you know, like, can I actually eat the cow that I had last night? You know, we was up here already, and which would make heaven pretty busy because now if we had all the cows and chickens and everything up there, that's be a lot of animals up there. But you know, and then the problem with that is obviously now you have to take care of all your cats and dogs that you had as a kid because they're all hanging around you now, right? And the worst would be like dog owners, the dog groomers who the ones that dog pounders, whatever they call those people that raise dogs. Yeah, they have to take care of all, huh? Breeders, there you go. It's like an alien thing. Breeders. And so technically, wouldn't they have to like, you know, like take care of all the animals and wait for the other people to die, you know, and then they can hand them off? And then you gotta watch out for third world heaven people, you know, coming over to your first world. And like, oh, can I eat your cat? They're like, what? How'd you get into first world heaven? It's like, God, jeez, don't you have borders here in heaven like you do down there? And you know, because then you have to protect your cat, the fluffy cat, you know, kind of good stuff. Alright. Fluffy. That person over there wants to eat him. And that's not fair, because I'm hungry. So and that's what I think barbecue, like clouds, thunder clouds are. They're like actually, the God's having a big barbecue up there. And the lightning bolts is him just playing around. And when you hear people getting hit by lightning, you know what that is? That's God fucking with you. And if you die, well, that's because he wants you dead. But if you come back to life, that's God fucking with you even more. You know, like, and I've been hit by 8 times. That means God's fucked you over 8 times. He's just playing it. Because you actually do die, but then he braces you back up. And sucker, and that's what he says. And then he enjoys it. And I personally think that's what... heaven is kind of going to be crazy up there, you know. I thought we were going to be like spirits, like glowing, but apparently we get wings. And we can eat them, or we can lose them. It's like it sounds like there's more problems up there than there are down here. And I'm not looking forward to it. But you can't do religious stuff too often for comedy because you might upset the TV gods, and because you know, because there's so many Christians out there that you can't dig down and bug God at all, otherwise you get banned. And anyways, I hope I don't get banned for talking about angel wings, because I just think they're funny. But I would like to thank you for your time. That's my time. Maybe you'll see that video on me now.